so in this video for HSC PDHPE, Core 1 Health Priorities in Australia, we are looking at your next dot point, which is complementary and alternative healthcare services, or approaches. Whoops. On the left-hand side of the syllabus, there are 3 dashes that we're going to go through in today's video, being reasons for growth of complementary and alternative health products and services, a range of products and services available, and how to make informed consumer choices. On the right-hand side of the syllabus, you need to apply this information by critically analysing complementary and alternative healthcare approaches by exploring questions such as, how do you know who to believe? And what do you need to know to help make informed decisions? Let's go. All right, so the first thing you need to understand about complementary and alternative health service or healthcare approaches is what they actually are, all right? And it's a very simple definition. I've given you 2 examples here, which, to be honest, will pretty much summarize this whole video. But anyway, a complementary service is one used in conjunction with traditional services, medical services, to enhance the outcomes. E.g., undergoing chemotherapy for cancer, which is a traditional medical service, okay? And also at the same time using meditation and aromatherapy to minimize stress and anxiety during treatment, okay? Because you can imagine if someone's going through chemotherapy, that's a very, very stressful time, okay? And a very stressful thing to go through. So then using a alternative service, but using it in complementary manners, along with the chemotherapy to help alleviate stress, anxiety, which will therefore relax the body, which may mean the body will take up the chemotherapy treatment better and therefore hopefully get rid of cancer. However, an alternative therapy is one used instead of traditional medical services. So basically any example I give you in today's video can be one or the other. It depends whether you use it alongside traditional medicine or whether you use it instead of traditional medicine. E.g., using Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture to lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels instead of the prescription medication from the GP. All right, so this is an alternative therapy. However, like I just said, if you think about it this way, I could reword this example to say, using Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture to lower blood pressure and cholesterol along with prescription medication from the GP. Now that is a complementary service, all right? So it doesn't matter. It's whether it's done in conjunction or alongside a traditional medical service or whether they're doing it instead of using traditional medical. That's the difference. And we can pretty much end the video there. Thanks, bye. Jokes. All right, so the first dash is looking at the reasons for growth of the complementary and alternative health products and services here in Australia. So I've got 5 reasons up on the board. Let's go through them. First one, increased number of qualified personnel via accredited courses delivered by TAFE and universities, all right? So you rewind 15 years ago, if you wanted to be like a chiro, or like a Chinese herbal medicine or a naturopath, etc., you'd have to do like an online course or like a course by distance through certain independent like organizations that ran those courses. And there was no real scientific evidence backing up what they were trying to deliver. And there was no sort of like accreditation in the fact that they had a certain level of performance and standard that they expected. These days though, courses for people to become things like that, such as a chiropractor, okay, are delivered by TAFE and actually delivered by universities, which basically states out that you need to know this, and this. These are the things that we have proven are effective ways of treating people through chiropractic. So therefore, those courses exist. So now you can actually go in to see one of these practitioners and they may have a certificate on the wall and that certificate is like legitimate. It's not one that's out of like a cereal box or that they got over the internet from India or whatever. Our second reason is looking at ancillary cover or extras cover, okay? So if you are a private health insurance patient and you take out extras cover, you can actually get like 65% of your amounts for visiting health promotion and prevention services reimbursed to you, okay, as part of your cover up to a certain like capped amount, all right? So I have extras cover and I do use that for optometry, but I also use it to see my chiropractor, all right? So when I go and see a chiropractor, their normal fee is like $65 or whatever it is for a session, and I only pay $20 because my private health insurance actually covers the rest of the amount. So that's really good. Number 3, increased acceptance of our multicultural society here in Australia, okay? So it used to sort of be seen as weird if you were, Anglo-Saxon, Australian, and going to see like a Chinese medicine practitioner. That was a little bit funky. Like, why are you going to do that? Why are you going to see a doctor? But nowadays, it's okay, right? Everyone can go and see anyone, and most people are comfortable in doing that. And if you go and say, oh yeah, I'm going to see my Chinese herbalist to get some more medicine and to get some acupuncture done, people will probably say, yeah, cool, is that good? I might do that too, right? So there's no sort of like stigma there around that anymore. Number 4, we've got increased awareness of holistic health, okay, being, complementary services, all right? So if you used to go to a GP, you had a sore muscle or a sore back or whatever was wrong with you, the GP would basically say, you need to rest up, okay, probably don't go and see a physio, probably don't go and see a chiro, because that stuff's not proven, etc. Just rest, ice, compression, elevation, come back to me in 2 weeks if you're not better, right? But these days, you go and see a GP with an issue, GP will still give you all those advices, they'll give you any medication that can help you, so like with your pain or with your issue or whatever it is, but then they'll also, more than likely, happy to suggest other types of things to improve your health, such as, you should go and see a chiro, an osteo, or a naturopath to help you alongside the stuff that I'm giving you today, all right? And the last one, social media trends, which is, it's a little bit silly, but at the same time, it is a reason for growth, okay? There was an organic food movement going around a few years ago and everyone was getting on the bandwagon because we've got to eat organic because all of the toxins and the pesticides and stuff like that. Don't get me started. And the next one, looking at detox, there's always somebody who's doing some type of detox. I'm doing the grapefruit detox. I'm doing the lemon detox. Oh yes, I've got a wedding this weekend, so I'm just going to do a detox. Yeah, I could rant for hours, but I'm not going to. But anyway, because of social media and society perceptions on things, there have been an increase in the growth of these services because through word of mouth and other people showing results and before and after pics, everyone believes it works. So therefore, let's all do it. So that's reasons for growth. All right, so your next dash is looking at our range of products and services available in the complementary and alternative healthcare approaches sector. So I've basically just got 4 categories on the board. There are more products and services than this, okay, but hopefully from this you get an idea of what some of the common services are and how they help the body. So first of all, we've got natural medicines such as Chinese herbal medicine, naturopathy, all right, so my wife used natural Chinese herbal medicine in an attempt when we were going through IVF. So we were going through IVF, which is a traditional medical service, but then we would, she was also taking Chinese herbal medicine to help, her system, basically take on the IVF and then have our daughters. So that's a fun fact for you. Naturopathy is pretty much the same thing, Chinese herbal medicine, but they present it in sort of a Western way, using herbs, etc., to basically create medicine to then help the body, function in a certain way. So next we've then just got your basic level supplementation, right? Taking a vitamin, mineral supplement, right? If you're, eating a healthy diet, etc., you probably don't need to be taking that stuff, but for some people, supplementation is necessary. Thirdly, we've got energy type therapies, okay, such as acupuncture, aromatherapy, meditation, etc. And if you don't know what these things are, so acupuncture is basically a acupuncturist will insert fine needles into certain parts of the body. When the needle goes into the skin, it's meant to hit a certain part of the body that will stimulate a bodily function. It's meant to, balance out your energies around a place. So if you're tense for some reason, or if you're stressed, or if you're feeling a certain way, it can be because of energy imbalance, and therefore acupuncture can help balance out your energy and therefore achieve health. Aromatherapy is simply using smells and scents to stimulate bodily functions, okay? This is currently going through another resurgence, so it was really big when I was a kid and my mum was into it, and then it sort of died off for like 30 years, and then lately there's lots of companies selling aromatherapy type products again, okay? It's not my job to say whether it works or not. If you believe, okay, actually you know what? Segue, side note, if you believe these things work, they work, all right? The mind is a very powerful thing. If you believe that something is going to work most of the time, it will. Third one being meditation. Okay, so meditation helps people achieve mindfulness, helps ground them despite the stressful life that we live in. It can be used to reduce anxiety, stress, etc., and therefore alleviate symptoms of depression or stop people from getting depression in the first place. And then our final one, we've got physical therapies, okay? So physiotherapy is not on the list because generally these days physiotherapy has been taken up as a traditional medical service. Okay, it used to be, one of these complementary alternatives, but now physio is generally considered to be normal. But we've got other ones, all right? So we've got osteopath and Bowen technique, or Bowen therapy, I should say. So if you've ever been to an osteo, it's pretty much a combination of physio and chiro. They move your body in certain ways. They will loosen joints by, doing the cracking and etc. But it's not quite chiropractic and it's not quite physio. It's in between. You've got obviously your chiro. Chiro basically is manipulating the spine and other bones of the body, okay, to achieve balance and relieve stress, etc. I personally like chiro, but that's just my personal opinion. And remedial massage being another one. So remedial massage is simply massage of the soft tissues of the body to stimulate blood flow. That stimulated blood flow can help alleviate injuries. It can, remove toxins that may be stored in those muscles that are holding onto it, etc. And all of these things, plus the others that I haven't listed here because there's heaps of different services, can all be used in a complementary fashion to go along with traditional medical services, like I said before with this one, or you can use it instead of traditional medical services, and that would be an alternative approach. All right, so our last part of this video is looking at how to make informed consumer choices. So basically, how do you avoid the quacks, all right? There's that old selling snake oil kind of stigma around this stuff. And a lot of the stuff, that applies, okay? Because many products and services that are touted by certain individuals are useless. Anyway, so advertisements, companies, social influencers, so like, celebrities or half celebrities or quarter celebrities or whatever you want to call them. The people on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and stuff who are like, oh, I'm this person and I use this thing and this thing's amazing and you all need to do it because I have 100,000 million followers or whatever. Okay, they're all selling products and services for one purpose, to make money. Generally, these people don't really care about your health, okay? If they did, they'd probably give it out for free. But no, that's not what's going to happen. We're actually going to sell this thing for an exorbitant amount of money to make some money back because, we're greedy, okay? And many of the things that they are toting that work are completely useless. So for example, all right, there's this company, I don't know what it's called, we'll make up a name. This is their thing. Take these tablets to improve your energy levels. And actually, if you don't believe us, here's a study backing up to prove that they work. Okay, so this sounds good, all right? Because you've got this tablet, they've done a study, and the study results showed that it actually worked to increase energy levels. Well, that sounds great, just take my money now. However, let's look at the study. What's actually happening here? The tablets that they're selling contain iron, all right? Hopefully you remember from your Core 2 work, you know that iron is very necessary in oxygen transport, very important for energy levels. The study that they're referring to was completed in iron-deficient women. Now, none of those details they tell you when they sell you the tablets. They just say, here's a proprietary blend tablet. It's called Enemax 5000, all right? They're selling it for $49.99 for a month's supply, a whole month of energy for $50. Like that's a steal. Just take my money now, all right? However, the study was done in iron-deficient women. Any type of iron those women took would have improved their iron levels and therefore would have improved their energy. So while the company here has not lied, everything they have said here is correct, but when you look at the facts, it does not apply to everybody. So 90% of people who buy those tablets, okay, they just buy the tablets, they take them for a month, 10% of that population will actually feel like increased energy. Oh my gosh, these tablets are amazing. The other 90% are like, these are rubbish, I'm not buying these again. But in the meantime, the company itself has made like $1 bazillion. That's how it works. So you need to ensure the practitioner has appropriate qualifications and is currently an accredited provider. okay? And you can achieve accreditation through many different ways. An example in this case would be the Australian Natural Therapists Association. So for example, I have to do accreditation as a teacher through NESA, okay? That is our accreditation body here in New South Wales Education. Every single year I need to prove to NESA that basically I can teach, I know stuff, here's the proof of me teaching and knowing stuff, all right? So a lot of practitioners may have like an official university bachelor's qualification to deliver chiropractic treatment from like 1999, all right? Well, back then it wasn't at university, but it might be a TAFE thing from 1999, and they're currently not accredited. But unless you ask that information, they're not going to tell you, all right? So they could be like well out of date and they could really injure you and then you'd have nothing to fall back on, right? Secondly, people should check the scientific research and studies before purchasing said product or service and seeing if it's actually applicable to them. So like I refer you back to this example, okay? If the person looked at that study, they would have figured out that it's actually iron in the tablets that's improving the energy and that will only work if you're iron deficient. Now, a normal set of iron tablets from the chemist may cost you like $10, but this company's selling it for $50. So obviously they're making heaps of money when you can get exactly the same thing to benefit you for 20% of the price. But also, by checking the study, you may realize that it's actually not going to work for you because you're not iron deficient and therefore that's not your issue and you've got some other issue. So it's always, you must do your own research. You can't just, base it on something that someone tells you, all right? Even everything I've been teaching you guys for the last 2 years, you shouldn't just trust me. You should be looking at textbook. You should be looking at like PDHPE.net. You should be checking all of your information to make sure it's all right, okay? Cannot rely on one source of information for anything in this world anymore. So do not rely on the internet for information. Do not rely on advertisements specifically, and do not rely on what social influencers tell you, okay? The last thing I will say is this final point in pink down here. Word of mouth. So while I would tell you generally don't trust word of mouth for anything, if someone tells you that something works, something's good, you still need to do your own research. Word of mouth can actually still be reliable testimony if, and it's a big if, that word of mouth is from someone you personally know and personally trust, all right? So I'm not talking about someone that you follow on Instagram. I'm talking about like your mother or your auntie or like your best friend who you've known for 12 years. If they have an issue similar to your issue and they say, hey, I have an issue like yours, this is what I did to fix my issue, you should look into that. That's probably pretty valuable, okay? That's pretty reliable information, all right? Whereas if you just do a Google search for your issue and you get 50 things pop up and then you just follow the one that the celebrity does that costs $1 bazillion, that's probably bad, all right? So, checking qualifications, checking accreditation, check the scientific research, and you can use word of mouth if it is from someone who you personally know and are personally trust. So that's how to make informed consumer choices, and that is the end of our video on complementary and alternative healthcare approaches. Thanks, bye.